Are they late to Bitcoin? Is it too late to buy Bitcoin, Fred, and benefit from it?
Oh, I mean, we're super early. We're very, very early. I mean, this is like we're at the beginning of probably a 20-year journey of massively high returns. It's going to be we're going to have massively high returns for 20 or maybe even 30 years. That's basically I think where we are. So it's you're nowhere. You're at the beginning, like you're in the first inning. So I think you're not at all late. And there's something very fractally about Bitcoin that it kind of like, in a way, 2024 is Bitcoin was never cheap. Remember when you bought your first Bitcoin, Nico? It was expensive.
I thought I lost the train. And look, I was very young at the time. I was very kind of desperate point in my life. So but
the same feeling you have about, oh my God, am I late? It's 2016. This thing was discovered. Okay. 7 years ago.
No, the point I was trying to make, Fred, is that like, so when I got in, it was under $1,000, and for the first cycle, so the first 4 years, I did whatever humanly possible to put as much as my income into Bitcoin, and I was very desperate, and I wanted to get out of the situation that I was in. However, I thought I was late because I met people that bought Bitcoin under $100. I met people that bought Bitcoin at $100 or $200. If I knew where Bitcoin would be today, instead of putting 80% of what I had, I think I would have put 95 to 100. I think I would have borrowed money.
Simon Dixon bought Bitcoin at 10 cents.
I would have borrowed money.
Wayne bought, who I do the podcast with. He bought Bitcoin at, $1. You know what I mean? Like
crazy.
You just have to get it. You have to get. It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is that those feelings are all the feeling that you had in 2016 is the same feeling that some new guy is going to have in 25, excuse me now, looking at $100,000 Bitcoin. It doesn't matter. You're very, very early. This is less than 1% of rich people even have any Bitcoin. So we're tremendously early. There's going to be a lot of great gains, but it's going to be Bitcoin only. Just and don't try to time it. I mean that's the main thing. Everybody who's trying to time it is going to screw up, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of
my
gut feel is they're going to screw up.
100%. I've met so many people in this industry for so long, and the general idea that I get, the general thing, and I completely agree with this, is don't trade and stay away from altcoins. And if I followed those two pieces of advice, I would probably have more Bitcoin today than I did if I didn't do any of those things. If I just stuck to DCAing and staying humble, stacking sats, staying solid.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, we are getting to the top of the hour, Fred. And I do want to be respectful of your time.
No problem.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I think this is the second one-on-one conversation that I've had with you. Absolutely a pleasure.
Thank you,
and huge fan of the big Bitcoin book. I totally bought myself a copy.
Great.
And big fan.
We had a lot of fun writing it.
It's super, super awesome. And I'm really glad to see that it succeeded. Could you tell everybody where to follow you, what you're working on, if they just want to stay on top of what Fred Krueger is doing, where could they find you?
Just go to my Twitter, .Krueger. And I have a link also to a website, like fredkrueger.org, I think it is. And I just have other links there. I have links of everything from books I'm reading to articles, videos about Bitcoin that I think are cool. And what am I working on now? I'll tell you that we're talking now about potentially art project, an art book on Bitcoin. We're thinking about it. That's something that's going to be pretty interesting. Sort of, we'll see if how that thing evolves. But I'm very very exciting at that. And and I'm primarily just a Bitcoiner, but I'm also looking at investing in potentially some Bitcoin related things. Not as a fund or anything, just myself, Fred Krueger. So. I'm ultimately just go to .Krueger. There's a link to my YouTube there. You can see I put some videos up on YouTube you can go back and look at some of them. And the other thing I was going to say, what I'm very, very kind of long-term in my intellectual hobbies right now is I'm really trying to research the history of money and and figure out kind of what does it look like when we're hyper Bitcoiners? What does lending look like in a world where we're completely on a Bitcoin standard? What do banks look like? What does the world look like on a Bitcoin standard? So these are sort of general questions I'm very interested in. And I've been doing a ton of reading of, very everything from the 19th century America to medieval Italy. So, yeah.
Need liquidity without having to sell your Bitcoin? For more than 6 years now, Ledn has been the trusted choice for Bitcoin-backed lending with transparency, security, and trust at their core. I absolutely love these guys, and I personally have not only an account with them, but also a loan. And some of the key features that I love about Ledn is the fact that there are no monthly payments. You pay at the end of the term. You also have the ability to roll over the loan as well, and you can pay it back whenever you want. Essentially what they do is that they help their clients unlock the liquidity of their BTC, allowing you to HODL while still accessing the wealth of your Bitcoin. They've been battle tested with their focus on transparency, security, and trust, allowing them to build a proven track record of client success and security, helping tens of thousands of clients harness the value of their digital assets with confidence and peace of mind. Learn more about what your BTC can do for you. Check out ledn.io today.